Hello there everybody, my name is Max and welcome back to From the Depths. So, if I'm honest, there may have been a slight issue with the From the Depths campaign, specifically more of an issue of my incompetence. So obviously, you haven't seen what it is that I'm standing on. This is our new resource platform which I made. So this is what's going to be collecting our resources instead of the cargo carriers now. It's a much more permanent solution. I sort of made this because, well, we need the cargo carriers to ship the resources around. We can't have them just gathering them. So we have this, and it's pretty simple. It runs on RTGs, and it's got some containers. Now, you haven't seen this, and that's because I made this when I was kind of still sick and my voice wasn't very good. So I decided not to post that video. However, that's kind of all I did when my voice wasn't very good. And you may have noticed that the campaign has slightly changed. So I just recorded for about an hour, and it was only at the end when I went to begin editing said recording that I realized that the microphone was not, in fact, on. So it was completely silent, and yeah, that's not very good. So what I think I'm going to do is, obviously this is the end, this is where we made it to. I'll show off some of the best battles and I'll narrate some of the battles, but just for context, that is what happened. Obviously some things I think I'll just tell you now, and then we can just skip straight to the actual important bit of the battle. So obviously we've started a new war. There was only one option for the war that I could do. I had to go to war with the lightning hoods, which is terrifying, because obviously the lightning hoods are the ones which destroyed me brutally last time. So we've still got the same old fleet. Slightly different, I finally made an actual light cruiser, which I think is a fine addition to our fleet, especially as we are taking on the lightning hoods. You may notice that the Mars class looks slightly different. That is because the Mars class, all of the Mars classes now, have been upgraded to the retrofit model. So you can see that the retrofit has these large missiles on the back here and these medium missiles. The retrofit also has significantly strengthened armor along the sides here, specifically around this turret. So what was happening with the old Mars class is obviously this was taking a single hit, the ammunition was cooking off, and it would explode everything. Now, when this explodes, it doesn't damage the ammunition, but it still destroys the engine. Unfortunately, I don't think there's anything I can do about that. That's just sort of a downside of the way that we built, or at least I built, the Mars class. So I will be replacing the Mars class. I've been working on its replacement. I have quite a few ideas for the replacement, but the replacement is not ready yet. We're going to be focusing a lot more on particle cannons and lasers for the replacement. However, the Mars class, in its retrofitted form, is actually quite effective against the lightning hoods. As you will see when I show you the battle, which we just did, the cram cannons are actually landing hits now. It's probably because, there we go, in the Mars class, or at least in the retrofit Mars class, I extended the barrels by 3. Makes them look slightly worse, but at the same time it actually makes the barrels hit things, which is probably more important than looks at the moment. Obviously we have our heavy cruiser, which I didn't realize in the battle, but I actually had the guns off on it, which was not ideal. But the heavy cruiser is quite effective against the lightning hoods as well. Obviously the light cruiser is reasonable against the lightning hoods, not great, but it'll do. And then we still have the 2 destroyers. So in addition to that fleet down there, I have just made a new fleet. Here it is. Actually teleporting myself is important. we go. So this is the new fleet. We got 2 heavy cruisers, 1 light cruiser, which, oops, and 1 destroyer, as well as we're going to put in this other Mars class which I built down here. So we're rocking with 2 pretty large fleets now. And the plan is I'm going to do this sort of pincer movement. So I'm going to like cut the lightning hoods in half. This fleet's going to go up and take this resource zone down here, and then this fleet's going to push on this way and hopefully destroy whatever it is over there. The reason this is going so slow is because something is not right here. 27, 27, 27, 36. So explain to me why you're going slower than the Mars class. Whatever. I guess I shouldn't question these things. Anyway, so we've got that fleet coming, and it's going to come up here, it's going to start capturing things, and hopefully all will be well. So when I chose to go to war with the lightning hoods, I did so alone, and I did so alone because it gave us just about 2 million commodities. As you can see, I've already spent 800,000 of those building up the fleets. So without further ado, I'm going to cut now back in time to the last fight that we did, because I think that last fight is probably the most important, and I think it demonstrates just how far we've actually come. So I will see you there. Hello everyone, it's Future Max here. So this is the Lightning Hood vessel which keeps destroying me. I'm sure by now you all know it off by heart, but it's the, whatever it is, Angio something. I don't know. Anyway, so it just destroyed my space spy, and I happen to have only a single fleet in intercept range, and that is the main fleet which I just showed off. So, against my best interests, I decide that I'm just gonna send it, because we've got nothing else. It's like, it's this or we die. So off I send my fleet, and then obviously we encounter the enemy. And I'm terrified at this point. Like, I am completely convinced that we are about to lose every single ship in the fleet. So I like desperately arrange my ships in like sort of like the circle. And then I'm like, right, just good luck. I just like send them in. It's yeah. It was not a good start to the battle, if I'm honest. The cram cannons missed, as you can see. And the Mars class was soaking up a huge amount of punishment, and I'm still terrified at this point because the Mars class is completely untested, the retrofit. So I don't know whether or not the new armor is actually going to withstand the laser, but surprisingly it actually did manage to withstand the laser, and it didn't cause an ammo rack explosion, which is probably the most important part. In fact, here I am. I'm just checking right now to make sure that the ammo racks are still intact. You can see that the front turret of the Mars class there doesn't have its turret constraints set up quite right. That's why it's facing the wrong way. So yeah, at this point I'm still concerned because I've just realized that some of the ships aren't actually firing because I'm an idiot and I don't have the guns on. So quickly turn the guns on those, and now our chances of survival have significantly increased. Obviously that is our heavy cruiser, a very impressive looking ship if you do ask me. And yeah, we're actually taking chunks out of this thing for once, and it's not taking chunks out of us so much. The small missiles were a great idea, and so were the large and medium missiles on the Mars class. It does add an extra 100,000 materials or something crazy, but it really helps, especially in these sorts of battles when we just need something. I think I'm double checking. So what's happened is that we managed to hit it with an EMP, and the AI is dead, and it's currently sinking, and I'm currently patting myself and my ship on the back. This continues for quite some time. I was really, really happy to have, admittedly, like probably a million resource fleet destroy that single awful ship which keeps repeatedly destroying everything. And the only real damage we took was on this single turret. And what happened was is that one of the advanced cannon gauge increases, you can see it there, there's the hole. It got hit out, and then the entire turret obviously sort of stopped functioning. But considering that previously that ship had completely decimated our entire fleet, that was a resounding success, and I was very impressed with it. I don't know if you saw, but we did get a few cram cannon hits. There's two that I can point to which I remember from watching the video. So I was super proud of that, just because obviously the retrofit for the cram cannons was supposed to increase the accuracy. In fact, I'm probably talking about that now. So I was super happy. Because honestly, it made me feel like we don't need to replace the Mars class. We still definitely do, but you know, it made me feel a little more warm inside, I guess, knowing that the ship that I made was still somewhat effective against the enemy. So yeah, so that was probably the most important battle in the whole thing, and I'm super impressed that we won it, and maybe perhaps this time we might actually be able to get rid of the lightning hoods, which would be amazing. I would be so impressed with that. I really wanted to go to war with the Onyx Watch above me. That was the entire plan that I had going into it, but unfortunately that wasn't actually an option. So we're dragged back into the war with the lightning hoods, but we seem to be on good footing at the moment. So I'll hand it back over to previous future me. So I know this has been kind of a weird video, but hopefully from that fight you can see that we have actually improved a little bit. And I just wanted to talk slightly before I end this about my plans and what I want to do. So I've decided I'm going to replace the Mars class. We've been working on its replacement for a little while. I know that I've been saying I'm going to replace it, but I'm legit going to replace it. The other thing I've been thinking about is I kind of want a submarine. You know that French submarine in World War II? The one with like the 8-inch gun on the front? That's kind of what I want. I think that would be amazing. I mean, probably not very effective, but it would be cool to have like a submarine just shooting up at things. And maybe it would be quite useful against the lightning hoods, because I suspect obviously lasers underwater don't work so well. So that is the first plan. And yeah, I'm sorry it's been kind of weird. Rookie mistake. I should have made sure that the microphone was actually working before I started chatting to it for an hour. I guess I've just been chatting to myself for an hour. Although I suppose I'm, at least at the current moment that I'm speaking, I'm still chatting to myself. Anyway, I hope you all have had fun. I'm sorry about the weird video. And I hope to see you again next time, when hopefully it will be a legit campaign video and not one cobbled together. Goodbye for now.